In the winter of 1916, in the fading glow of Imperial Russia, a single man terrified nobles, fascinated a queen, and seemed impossible to kill. His name was Grigori Rasputin, a peasant turned mystic from a frozen Siberian village. Rasputin walked into the heart of the Russian royal court and walked out of history as one of the most infamous figures ever labeled the Mad Monk. But what made Rasputin truly legendary was not just his influence over the Romanov family. It was the question that still haunts us today. How did he survive so many attempts on his life? Rasputin's rise was as shocking as his reputation. Born in 1869 in Siberia, he had no formal education, no noble blood, and no official religious authority. Yet through intense staring, hypnotic speech, and an uncanny sense of confidence, he convinced many that he possessed divine healing powers. When Russia's royal family discovered that Rasputin appeared to ease the suffering of their son, Alexei, who had hemophilia, the door to power swung wide open. To Empress Alexandra, Rasputin was not a madman, he was a miracle. But to the Russian nobility, Rasputin was a nightmare. They saw him as a corrupt drunk, a womanizer, and a dangerous manipulator controlling the royal family from the shadows. Rumors spread that he was sleeping with noble women, influencing government decisions, and pushing Russia toward disaster. During World War I, hatred grew quietly, and soon, whispers of assassination turned into plans. The first attempt on Rasputin's life came in 1914. While visiting his hometown, a woman approached him suddenly and stabbed him in the stomach. The wound was deep, and doctors believed he would die. Infection set in, Rasputin collapsed, bleeding heavily, barely conscious, for weeks. His condition worsened, yet somehow, against all medical expectations of the time, he survived. When he recovered, Rasputin claimed the Virgin Mary had appeared to him and saved his life. To his followers, this only strengthened his reputation as a man protected by supernatural forces. But survival only made him more dangerous in the eyes of his enemies. 2 years later, a group of powerful nobles decided Rasputin had to be eliminated once and for all. In December 1916, they invited him to a lavish palace in St. Petersburg under the promise of meeting a beautiful woman. What happened that night would become one of the most infamous assassination stories in history. According to the conspirators, Rasputin was served cakes and wine laced with enough cyanide to kill several men. They watched and waited. Minutes passed. Nothing happened. Rasputin laughed, ate more, and asked for another glass. The poison seemed to have no effect. Panicking, one of the men pulled out a gun and shot Rasputin in the chest. He collapsed onto the floor, blood spreading beneath him. They believed it was over. Then Rasputin moved. He suddenly opened his eyes, stood up, and began attacking his would-be killers. Terrified, they shot him again, then again. Finally, they beat him, wrapped his body in cloth, and dumped him into the freezing Neva River. Even then, legend claims Rasputin was still alive when he hit the water, his lungs filling with ice-cold river water as he drowned. An autopsy later revealed something shocking. No traces of poison were discovered. Instead, his life ended due to severe injuries and extreme cold, fueling endless speculation. Did the poison fail? Was Rasputin immune? Or was the story exaggerated to make his death seem more dramatic? Modern historians suggest several explanations. The cyanide may have lost its potency when baked into the cakes. Rasputin's heavy drinking could have slowed the poison's effect. Or perhaps the conspirators invented parts of the story to make themselves appear heroic. But facts aside, one truth remains: Rasputin refused to die easily. Rasputin's death did not save the Russian Empire. Just months later, the Romanov dynasty collapsed, and Russia plunged into revolution. To some, Rasputin was a dark prophet whose warnings went ignored. To others, he was a fraud who manipulated faith and fear, but his legend outlived the empire he haunted. Even today, Rasputin remains a symbol of mystery, of a man who blurred the line between myth and reality. Was he protected by dark forces, divine luck, or simply human resilience pushed to its limit? Perhaps the real mystery is not how Rasputin survived so many assassination attempts, but why his story still refuses to die. If you enjoyed uncovering the dark, forgotten mysteries of history, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us as we open another hidden file from the past. Because some stories were buried for a reason and some refuse to stay dead.